Alright, so right now I'm going to walk through some vocabulary with you before we start worksheet 12.1. The first word we're going to discuss is the word set. A set is a well-defined collection of distinct objects. The objects are called the elements. An empty set, or a null set, is a set with no elements. The empty set is symbolized with this symbol. When we say well-defined, it implies that there is a rule available to determine if an object is part of the set. And we'll do some examples in a second. I'm just going over the vocabulary. Subsets is the next thing we're going to talk about. If two sets A and B have precisely the exact same elements, we call A and B equal, and we write that A is equal to B. If each element of set A is also an element of set B, we say that A is a subset of B, and we denote it with this symbol right here. Something else to consider is the empty set is considered a subset of every set. All right, so here's an example of what we're talking about. This right here is called a set. It's well defined, and now they want me to list all the subsets. So the subsets. The first set is always the empty set. So anytime they ask you to write down all the subsets, you always start with the empty set. The next thing you're going to do is list each element by itself. So I say 1, then 2, then 3. Then I'm going to do my elements in pairs. I've got 1 and 2, and 2 and 3, and 1 and 3. Then I'm going to do my elements in triples. 1, 2, 3. If I had a fourth element, I'd do triples, 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 and then 4. So you might be wondering, how do you know when you're done? There's a rule. Remember we said that all sets have a rule. And the rule says, if A is a set with n elements, 1, 2, 3, there are 3 elements, then A has 2 to the n subsets. So this means 2 to the number of elements, 1, 2, 3, 2 to the third. So it means that I should have 8 total subsets. Well, let's see if we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I do. So this is a set. These are the subsets. And I know anytime I'm trying to find the number of subsets, I do 2 to the n power. And n is the number of elements inside the set. Okay, some more vocabulary. If A and B are sets, the intersection of A and B is a set consisting of elements that belong to both A and B. And this is a symbol that we're going to use for intersection. We'll do an example in a second. The union of A and B is a set consisting of elements that belong to either A or B or both. So this symbol means union. The universal set, U, is a set of all the elements that we wish to consider. They will always give you the universal set in a problem. The complement of set A is the set of all the elements in the universal set that are not in A. Anytime we want to find the complement, we're going to use this little bar over the top. Okay, so let's do some examples. So I have 1, 2, 3 sets. I have set A, set B, and set C. And they want me to find the intersection first. Remember, I just said the intersection is what they have in common. So what does A and B have in common? So I'm going to look at these two. They both have a 1, so I write down a 1. A has a 4, B does not. B has a 3, A does not. B has a 5, A does not. B has 7, A does not. Hey, but they both have a 9. So the intersection is what they both have in common. This symbol means union. Union means what they have total. You just don't write repeats. So A has a 1, B has a 1, I write it one time. B has a 3, I have to write it down. A has a 4, B has 5, B has 7, they both have a 9, but I just write it one time. So when they ask you to write the union, they want you to write down everything that they both have, but don't do repeats. This problem is putting 2 and 1. So they want you to find the union of A and C first, and then find the intersection. So to find the union of A and C, I write down everything they both have. So we have a 1, a 2, a 4, an 8, and a 9. So 1, 2, they both have a 4, an 8, and they both have a 9, but I just write it once. So this right here is the A union C, this part here. And then they want me to find the intersection of B. So now they want to know what do they have in common. So here's B, and here's the union we just did. They have a 1 in common. I write it down. This answer has a 2. B does not. B has a 3. This one doesn't. 4, no 4. 5, no 5. 7, no 7. 8, no 8. Hey, they both have a 9. So they only have 2 elements in common. They have a 1 and they have a 9. To find the complement of a set, the first thing they have to give you is your universal. So they're going to tell you what the universal set is, and then they're going to tell you what A is. When they use this symbol, it means complement. When they ask you for the complement, you write down everything in the universal that's not in A. So 1 is in the universal, but not in A, so I write it down. 2 is in both of them. I don't write it. 3 is in both of them. I don't write it. 4 is only in the universal. It's not in A, so I write it. So if it's only in the universal, you write it. 5 is in both of them. I don't write it. 6 is only in the universal. 7 is in both of them. I don't write it. I bring down the 8 because it's not there. I bring down the 9 because it's not there. So that's what finding the complement means to do. The last thing we're going to do is look at a Venn diagram. These are kind of hard to read. Y'all are really good at these. I don't really think I need to spend a lot of time on this one. It says, how many were in band but not in choir? Okay, so if you're in band and not in choir, so there's 97 kids out here in band. This down here is D. I'm not sure what D stands for. C up here, that's my choir. So they want to know how many are in band but not in choir. So there are 97 here. Plus there are 7 down here that are part of this extra. 97 plus 7 would be 104. I don't want to include this 2 or this 2 because those are in choir. So 104. How many are in at least one of the organizations? Okay, so they want to be in at least one. So 97 plus 2 plus 33. Excuse me, let me add these up here. I'll use my calculator. So I've got 97 plus 33 plus, oh my eyes are so bad, 63 adds up to 193. But I want to be in at least one, so I also have this, this, and this. So plus 6 plus 7 plus 2. And then I got the 2 in the middle, plus 2 more. There you go. There's the 210. So I added up all my numbers. Okay. How many students are in band and choir? That means they're going to overlap in the band and choir section. So I have 2 up here that are in band and choir, but I also have another 2 down here that are in band, choir, and something else, but they're still in band and choir. So 2 plus 2 gives me the 4. Okay, so now what we're going to spend some time, oh, I forgot, I have one more thing. I have a counting formula. If A and B are finite sets, then the number of elements in the union is equal to the number of elements in A plus the number of elements in B minus their intersection. So there are going to be several problems in a little while where I give you one of these and you have to go find the missing. So now we're going to go look at worksheet 12.1 and we're going to do some of these together, and then I'm going to assign some of these for you to work on. And you're going to want to have this worksheet out when you do your quiz. Okay, so let's go look at a few problems. Let's go look at number 5 first. So on number 5, they simply want me to find the union. So again, when they ask you to find the union, you're going to list all of them, but don't do repeats. So they want the union of A and B. We have a 1 and a 1, but I just write it once. A 3. They both have a 5, but again, I just write it once. A 6, 7, and 9. So it really is that simple. You just go list them all. All right, so let's go do an intersection. Let's do number 8. So number 8, remember when I want to do an intersection, I want to know what do they have in common. So on number 8, they want to know what does A and C have in common. So A has a 1, C has a 1. A has a 3, C does not. C has a 2, A does not. 5, no 5. 4, no 4. 7, no 7. 8, no 8. Oh, and they both have a 9. So they have in common a 1 and a 9. Okay, and let's go do one that does a combo. Let's do number 9. So number 9, you're going to do the parentheses first. First, they want me to find the universal, and then they want me to find the intersection. So, hey, the nice thing is I just did the universal right here, so I've already done the work. So the universal answer is 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. And now I want to know, how does it intersect with C? So what does this answer and C have in common? Well, they both have a 1, not a 2, not a 3, not a 4, not a 5. Oop, they both have a 6. They both have, nope, they both don't have a 7. Oh, and they both have a 9. So they have 3 elements in common. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of 12, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of 13. You're going to end up doing 6, 7. You're going to end up doing 6, 7, 10, and 11. So those are the 4 that you're going to work on. You're going to, like I said, you're going to want to have this paper for your quiz. Okay, so let's go look at the next section. On the next section, it says in problems 15 through 23, U is a universal set. Here's set A, here's set B, here's set C. Find each. Okay, so we're going to do 15 together. It says find the complement of A. Remember, when they ask you to find the complement of A, they want to know everything in the universal, but it's not in A. So 0 is in the universal and not in A. So I write it. 1's in both, so I don't write it. 2 is just in the universal. 3 is in both, so I don't write it. 4 is in both. 5 is in both. Hey, 6, 7, and 8 are not, so I write those down. Okay, so that's how you do a complement. You're going to do the same thing for 16. Let's go look at number 17. 17 is a combo problem. The first thing they want you to do is find the intersection of A and B, then go find the complement. So I'm going to go find the intersection first. Then I'm going to find the complement. So the intersection of A and B, what do they have in common? Not a 1, not a 3. They both have a 4. Okay, so the only thing they have in common is 4. So now I'm going to go find the complement. The complement means I want everything in the universal, but I don't want the 4. So I'm going to write down everything else. 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to write the 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing for 19. I'll do 20 with you. So 20 wants me to go find the complement of B, the complement of C, and then go find their intersection. So the complement of B is everything in the universal that's not in B. So 0, 1, 2's in both of them, 3, 4's in both of them, 5, 6 is in both of them, 7's in both of them, 8's in both of them, and then 9. Okay, so the complement of B is 0, 1, 3, 5, 9. Now we're going to find the complement of C. So I want everything in the universal that's not in here. So 0, 1 they're both in, 2, 3 they both have, 4 they both have, 5, 6 they both have, and then 7, 8, and 9. And now I want the intersection of these two. So they both have a 0, no 1, no 3, they both have a 5, and they both have a 9. So this is the set. Okay, you're going to go ahead and do 16, 19, and you can get rid of 18. I'm going to turn the page. You're doing the same thing on the next page. 21, 22, and 23. If you can do it on the front, you can do it on the back, so we're going to get rid of those 3 also. Okay, 25 says write down all the subsets of A, B, C, and D. Before we start, let's remember the rule. I need to know how many I'm going to have. So the rule was 2 to the n power. N is your number in the set. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to have 2 to the 4th. So 2 to the 3rd is 8. 8 times 2. I'm going to have 16 sets. So I know that when I'm done, I should have 16. Okay, so the first one we always write down is the null set. And then remember, we always do all of our singles. I have an A, and then we have a B, and then we have the C, and then we have the D. Okay, so those are all my singles. Okay, now I'm going to go do all my doubles. So I can have A and B. I can also have A and C. I can also have A and D. Okay. I can also have B and C. I don't have B and C yet. And I can have, let's see, I can have B and C. And I can have B and D. And then I can also have C and D. Okay, so how many do I have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I need 5 more. All right, so I'm going to do my triples now. So for my triples, I can have A, B, and C. I could also have A, B, and D. I can also have B, C, and D. And A, C, and D. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, and I only need one more. And my last one is my sets of 4. Okay, and you're going to do 26 the same way. First thing you're going to do is figure out how many you need. And then you're going to do your empty set, your singles, your doubles, your triples, and so on until you've done all your sets. All right, so let's go look at 27. 27 is using the formula that we wrote down earlier. Let me look at this one right here. This is the formula that we're using. The union is going to be equal to the number in A plus the number in B minus the number of the intersection. So they want me to find the union. So A union B equals the number in A, well the number in A is 15, plus the number in B, which is 20, minus the number in the intersection, which is 10. So 15 plus 20 is 35. Take away 10 is equal to 25. Okay, so let's do the next one. 28 says they give me the number in A, they give me the number in B, and they give me the union. This time they want me to find the intersection. So we're going to go plug in. This time they gave me the union first. They told me that the union was 45. So 45 equals. The number in A is 30. The number in B is 40. And I don't know what the intersection is, so we'll call that X. Okay, so simple algebra. I'm going to add those first. So 45 equals 70 minus X. I'm going to subtract 70 and get negative 35 equals, not 35, 25. Negative 25 equals negative X, and X equals 25. So the intersection is 25. All right, I'm going to let you do 29. I'm going to let you do 30. 31 through 38 is the Venn diagram. Again, y'all are really good at these, so I'm just going to do 2 real quick. How many are in set A? So how many total are in set A? I'm going to go add some things up. So 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, wait a minute. That's the one I want you to do. I'm going to go do 32. Sorry. So 32. How many are in set B? So we're going to go add these up. So we're going to have 10 plus 3 is 13. 14, 15 plus 5 more is 20. And you're going to do the same thing for 31. You're going to go add up everything in the A circle. I'm going to do 34. How many are in A and B? That means where do they overlap? So they overlap in 2 spots, so 3 and 5. So there are 8 in both. I'm going to get rid of 37 and I'm going to get rid of 38. I want you to finish the rest. So what you're going to do is you're going to finish the ones that I assigned, and then you're going to go take your quiz. Your quiz is located on the same Google Classroom. Once you submit your quiz, make sure you click done, that you've done the video with me and that you finished your quiz so that I can get your grade. Hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions in class.